Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Now today I'm taking a look at a camera that I've recently purchased, and it's actually a new release from the manufacturer, and it is the Sony ZV E10 II, ZV E10 II. This is a follow-up to the very successful ZV E10, but the Mark II has quite a few advanced features over and above the ZV E10. Now Sony are marketing it as a content creation camera, a camera for video producers, for vloggers, people that are producing content for the likes of YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. So I want to go through some of those features, but I'm also using it as a photography camera. I love its photography features. It's a really compact camera, quite a nice grip, very, very lightweight, 500 grams with its kit lens. And I'm going to go through some of the photographs I've got on my computer here. I haven't taken many because I have been using it predominantly as a video camera, but I'm going to be going out and about with it as a photography camera because it's so easy to slip in my little bag. I've got a Manfrotto little pouch. I've got my Billingham bags, but if I just want to take the camera with its kit lens, or any pancake lens will fit on it, E-mount pancake lens, that fits in that bag quite nicely. That'll fit on my belt, or carry out quite casually. So that's quite a nice combination. I mean, it isn't possible to shove it in your pocket, but it is small enough to shove in one of those little pouches. So I do love that about it. Now the ZV E10 Mark II has a better grip than the original ZV E10, mainly because it's a bigger grip to take the bigger battery. But it's quite a nice grip, although your knuckles that still rub up against some of the lenses. Not so bad with this kit lens, but if you've got a bigger lens on here, it will still rub up against the lens because there isn't a great deal of distance between the grip and the lens mount. So just take that into account if you are going to put bigger lenses on this particular camera. I won't be. I'm going to be using it as an out and about camera, certainly here in the studio on the tripod, because it's a great, as I say, video camera. Because of a bigger grip, as I said, it's got a bigger battery, so it takes the FZ100 battery, which is a really nice battery. This is a third-party battery in here, but it takes the FZ100 battery, so battery life is really, really good. I mean, I think it's excellent. When you compare that to the FW50 battery that used to go in the ZV E10, well, it does go in the ZV E10 Mark I, it's quite a bigger battery. So you're going to get more juice from the new battery than you are from the older battery. And because of the new processor and the new battery, it's got a USB-C port on the camera, which enables you to do USB-C charging as well as power delivery. So there's the USB-C port right next to the microphone jack. So you can actually charge the camera via USB-C, but you can also power the camera by USB-C. And that is essential for me here in the studio. I'm running two Fuji cameras here, and I've got my ZV-1 Mark II there, and over there I've got my original ZV-1. But the ZV-1 Mark II has got USB-C, and I can just leave these running. I don't have to worry about battery running out while I'm doing this long form content. I can then edit it down on the computer and chop out the bits that I don't need. It also has the red tally light, which is great. The ZV E10 has that. Also the ZV-1 Mark I and Mark II. Now for me, absolutely essential. I can't remember in the past how many times I thought the video camera was running, when in fact I come to transfer the files to the computer and find that it isn't. But at least with these cameras, you know that it's running because you get the tally lamp on the top of the camera, so you can see that from in front of the camera that it is recording. You also get the red record frame around the screen, so you can actually see that it is recording as well. But the tally lamp is really nice and bright, so you can clearly see that is running. Very, very handy for me. I'm a solo creator. I don't have anyone behind the cameras, so it's great that when I'm in front of a camera, I can see that it is actually recording. The ZV E10 Mark II has the updated menu structure, which is great, so much better than the original Sony cameras. It's all touchscreen, so you can swipe up also to get to your different functions. So I can swipe up there, that brings up the function menu, yep, and you can go through the different functions just by tapping on it. It's difficult to see it back to front, but tapping on it, that'll bring up that function, and you can go through all your menu structure by just tapping on the screen. tap OK, then that goes away. You can set your focus points, you can set everything just by touching the screen. So you can go into the menu, we click on the menu button, we go into the menu, but you can scroll through the menu just by hitting the screen. It's all, as I said, it's all touch screen. Everything is accessible just like using a mobile phone. So much easier, so much better than the original menu structure. And I do like the new menu structure on the Sony cameras. It's still not perfect, but it's a lot better than the original Sony menus in the original cameras. The SD card slot has been moved from the battery compartment. It used to be where the battery compartment is, and they moved it now to the side of the camera, which is so much better, particularly if you've got the camera on a tripod or on a grip. Being on the side of a camera, so much easier to access. Do prefer that. All professional cameras tend to have the SD card slots on the side of the camera. It is only one SD card slot, but I would recommend using a UHS 2 card, V90 card, because of the video codecs that this camera has. This camera features 10-bit video recording, where the original ZV E10 was only an 8-bit camera. That was fine for the vast majority of stuff that I do, but a lot of videographers and a lot of content creators are shooting in S-Log2, S-Log3, and the sort of codecs that you really do need the 10-bit video recording for, particularly if you're doing color grading or you're doing green screen work, then you will need the 10-bit codecs. This camera supports 10-bit video recording, and it's 10-bit up to 50p, or in America it would be 60p, with a slight crop. It's a 1.1 times crop if you're recording in 60p or 50p, but when you're recording in 25 and 30p, then there is no crop. It's you know, the standard APS-C crop. So very, very handy that it's on the side, but just as I say, be conscious that it is only one card slot. You wouldn't expect any different. The A6700 only has one card slot. You'd have to spend, you know, go up quite a bit more to something like the A7 IV to get a camera with, you know, redundancy with 2 card slots. The top of the camera is fairly straightforward, very similar to the ZV E10. It's got your hot shoe. It's a multi-interface shoe. I'm going to explain that in a minute. It's got your 3-capsule microphone on the top here. The nice thing with the ZV E10 Mark II, you can set the microphone to be directional on the front of the camera, the back of the camera, or, you know, omnidirectional all the way round. Or you can set it to automatic, where the camera will pick up automatically where it thinks the sound is coming from. It will prioritize where it thinks the sound should be coming from. It's got a physical switch now to switch between slow and quick motion, stills and video, where before it was a push button switch. So it's much better now that it is actually a physical switch. You've got your command dial here. You can set that up to how you want to use that. I've got that set up for either shutter priority or adjusting the shutter speed in shutter priority, the apertures in aperture priority. And it's a nice, you know, really nice dial to use. And it's got a video record button, big red record button, and it's got a function button on the top here. Now, when it comes out of the box, that is set up for setting the widest aperture. It's called a sort of a bokeh switch. The camera will automatically go to its widest aperture. That's for getting that lovely, you know, out of focus background. That will depend on how wide an aperture lens that you've got. For example, this is a kit lens, so that would set that to f3.5 because that's the widest that this lens will actually go to. I've pre-assigned this button, as you can with most of these buttons on this camera. I've reassigned that to another function. I've reassigned that to be in the shooting mode. So when I'm in photography, so let's put it into photography. When I'm in photography, I can push this button on the top, and that'll set me different modes, whether it be aperture priority, shutter priority, because there isn't a PASM dial on here. I can now easily change that to aperture priority, shutter priority, or whatever. When I'm in video, I've got that set, so it changed it again to aperture priority, shutter priority, whatever it might be that you want to set it to. As well as function buttons on the top of a camera, there are function buttons on the back of a camera. You've got your main function button on the back there. That brings up the short function menu, or the quick function menu, although you can bring that up just by swiping, as what I've done earlier, just swipe up the screen and then that brings that up. So you can do it whichever way you want to do it, either by using a physical button or swiping up. It's the same with setting your modes. You can either use this button which I've assigned at the top here for setting aperture priority, shutter priority, or whatever. Or you can just go into the menu at the top here. So at the top there, I can do it that way and set it up that way. That's now going to set me focus points into focus tracking. It's got animal detect, bird detect, and human detect, obviously. But you can, again, set that up on the screen. You don't need to go into the menu to set that up, which is really great. So I can just push that button there. That's now gone to animal detect, push it again, and that'll go to bird detect, and then push it again, and that'll go back to human detect. So great functionality, the fact that it is all touchscreen. Very quick and easy to adjust for settings. This camera does have a headphone jack and mic jack. I showed you earlier, mic jack is by the USB-C port, and then at the bottom it's got a headphone jack and a micro HDMI jack. So you can send a signal to your Atmos recorders if you want to do some backup recording, or just to a field monitor if you need to. So you know, nicely featured. It is a micro HDMI as opposed to full size. You wouldn't be able to get a full size HDMI port on a camera of this size. That's why they've gone for micro HDMI. The ZV-E10 does feature the multi-interface shoe on the top of the camera here, and this is so much better than the original ZV-E10 because it feeds a digital signal from your microphones as opposed to an analog signal. And also pretty much all the microphones I've tested do work. Well, all the microphones I've tested do work, such as the Sony ECM B1M. You can use that in digital mode, put that on the camera, no cables needed. When you slot that in there, adjust your settings, audio settings on the microphone, and then that'll send that signal straight to the camera, no cables needed. Absolutely awesome. Love that feature, one of my favorite features of these Sony cameras. You can fit on the little G1 or 1GM, whatever it is, a lovely little microphone that'll produce better results than the built-in microphones on the camera. Or you can use one of their wireless microphones. I got the W3 ECM W3 wireless microphone kit. So you put the transmitter on the camera straight into the shoe. That'll work fine. Or if you want to use professional XLR microphones, you can use something like the K3M adapter. That's got your settings on the side there for adjusting your two XLR inputs. Then the other side, it's got your XLR inputs, and again that'll slide just straight into the shoe here. And then you've got professional XLR inputs coming into the camera. So that's a great little feature, and you don't need cables, you don't need additional power supplies, because the camera will provide the power to the actual microphone, or in this case the adapter. So yeah, very useful feature for using with this particular camera. The ZV-E10 Mark II has great autofocus features, quite a few more than what the ZV-E10 had. It's got your animal detect, human detect, and bird detect, which the ZV-E10 doesn't have. It's also got 759 phase detect autofocus points as opposed to 425 autofocus points on the ZV-E10. And it nails the focus all the time. It's brilliant. It's got autofocus tracking, so you can track a subject quite nicely, very easily. Yeah, so autofocus on the ZV-E10 Mark II is outstanding. The new kit lens that Sony are providing with the ZV-E10 Mark II is actually really good. Now, the original 16-50 kit lens wasn't the sharpest sort of kit lens available. This one is pretty decent. It's nice and light, 107 grams, so very light and compact. And I think if you're going to buy it with the camera, it's very well worthwhile doing so, because it's so cheap if you buy it as part of a kit. It's not that expensive buying it on its own. But it's a power zoom lens. So on the side you've got your power zoom rocker switch, but on the camera has its own power zoom rocker switch on the camera. I'm not keen on that idea, because annoyingly it does get knocked if you're using lenses that haven't got power zoom, and you keep getting an error message. It really annoys me. Not so bad on the ZV-E10 Mark II because the grip is better, so I tend not to knock it. But the original ZV-E10 was hopeless. I was always knocking the zoom lever with my finger, and I kept getting up the error message, and it was really frustrating. I really wish Sony would put somewhere in the menu where you could turn the rocker switch off, so it didn't do that. That would be really, really helpful. So let's have a quick look at a few of the images that are taken with this kit lens, and I took with a Viltrox 33mm f1.4 lens. The sensor is great. It's a lovely sharp images. This kit lens is really, really good. I've got no complaints with this kit lens as a travel lens. As you can see here, sharpness is really good, and it's not a bokeh lens, it's a 3.5 to 5.6 lens. Also, it's not great in low light because the telephoto end, the 50mm end, it goes down to 5.6, so it's not a a great lens in low light, and it's not a great bokeh lens. But as a standard travel lens, I think it's absolutely wonderful. I think it's great, and you get some lovely, lovely pictures. So if we just have a quick look at a few of these images. Now, these images will be put on my Flickr page, so you can take a look at them there, and you can browse through them much better than looking at them on my YouTube channel, because I'm only going to flick through them anyway. But you can see here how sharp they are. The colours are really nice. I love the colours that this sensor is producing. They're really crisp. They're really vibrant. The whole thing about this camera is actually really nice. Now, it does lack a viewfinder, so a lot of photographers would find that really annoying. But if you're coming from a mobile phone, or you're used to using a camera that hasn't got a viewfinder, it's not a problem. And I'm getting used to it now. And the fact that I've pre-assigned that button at the bottom here to be able to set it to either sunny mode or adjust the screen brightness, I can use it outdoors quite happily without the need of a viewfinder. So not really an issue. It's a 26 megapixel sensor for taking your photographs, so it is great for photography. Now, it hasn't got a mechanical shutter. This camera relies on the electronic shutter as opposed to the ZV-E10, that has a mechanical and electronic shutter. So under certain lighting conditions, certainly indoors under fluorescent lighting or LED lighting, you may get color banding or some form of banding in the image. So it might be worth considering that if you are planning to do any sports photography indoors under artificial lighting, you may have an issue with this camera. Also, because it's only got an electronic shutter, the rolling shutter or the jello effect as you're doing pans is a bit more pronounced than it is on some other cameras. But that sort of photography I don't do, or videography I don't do, so that doesn't worry me whatsoever. It's just a really nice compact travel camera, and as I say, you can get some lovely images. And even though it has only got the electronic shutter, it doesn't affect the image quality in any way whatsoever under most conditions. You see here, lovely sharpness, lovely colours, great little compact, very compact travel lens and travel camera. So yeah, the whole kit I can recommend. The ZV-E10 Mark II is being marketed as a content creation camera, so perfect for your YouTube content creation, but it's also perfect if you're producing content for TikTok, Instagram and other social media that rely on being filmed that way. So you can see the menu now is turned vertically, so you can actually see the menu, and when you come to edit this footage, it will be that correct way round. You haven't got to readjust it or whatever. It will be exactly as you filmed it. So great feature of that. But the menu does rotate, and also it is set up for vertical content creation. So there we go. That's the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II, a quick run through of some of its features and some of the benefits over the original ZV-E10. I love its little compact size. It's a nice little camera to take around with me. Really enjoy using it. So there we go. Thanks very much. I hope you found that video useful. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Hit the like button if you like the content of my videos. We'd really appreciate that. Does help me grow the channel. Thanks very much. Cheers for now. Bye.